Hi everyone, today we're looking at rings and we're going to combine them with the chains that we learnt in the last video. So we're going to work a series of rings and chains together. Working the double stitch is done exactly the same way as we did for our chain. The way we work the stitch does not change, but what does change is the way we set up our hand. So I had yellow thread for my ball thread and the green on my shuttle when we were working our chains. I swapped that around for this video because our shuttle is going to be making all of our stitches and the yellow's a lot easier for you to see. So for our chain setup, we had our ball thread, our working thread on top. Our knot was in the pinch. We went over our fingers and we wrapped our little finger. For our rings, we want our ball thread on the bottom and our shuttle thread on the top. So we need a bit of thread to wrap our hand. We hold that knot in the pinch and we're going around all of our fingers this time and coming back up and into the pinch. So again, hold your knot in the pinch, wrap all your fingers around your little finger as well, and back up and into the pinch. So I've still got a fairly good distance between my middle finger and the pinch because once again the shuttle needs to go through here to make the stitches. So as I said, the way we work the stitches is exactly the same. Wrap your hand, go under, back out over, change your tension to flip your stitch and pull that up. In the second half, over, under, change your tension and flip your stitch, pull it up. So work the amount of stitches that you need. And you'll notice as I'm working, this ring around my hand is getting very tight. So if you wind off some thread off your shuttle and pull, hold on to your stitches here, pull on the thread below the pinch, it takes the thread from your shuttle and opens up your ring. And then you've got enough to continue. When you've worked the amount of stitches that you need, we can just pull that loop off and pull on our core thread, which will start to close that loop. But what can tend to happen is that our last half of our last stitch tends to want to roll in on itself. A couple of things we can do to prevent that from happening. We can add an extra half stitch like that, or you can post your shuttle, and posting your shuttle means you pop it from the front through the ring to the back, and that is all we're doing. Hold on to your stitches and pull that closed, and you can feel the ring closing in your fingers. Now you don't have to do the extra half stitch and you don't have to post your shuttle. I like to do both because that extra half stitch stops my stitches from rolling in, and posting my shuttle puts my thread at the back of the ring ready for me to make the next element. But it is completely personal preference whether you do one or both or none at all. So that's your ring. Now we're going to go on to add a chain to that. So we need to reverse our work, and that means we take the top and make it the bottom. So we flip it over towards ourselves. We're going to look at patterns and terminology in a separate video. So for now, just flip your work towards you, and that is going to mean we have our ball thread on top and our shuttle thread on the bottom. We can set up for our next chain. So hold your ring in the pinch and wrap your hand for a chain. One thing we need to be careful of is that we don't open up the ring that we've just closed. So give it an extra tug and then hold it fairly securely in the pinch. Pulling on this thread to make our next stitch for our chain can open up that ring, so we need to be a bit careful about that. We've also got a lot of thread out because we just made a ring. We don't want that much for our chain, so wind up your slack, and then we're going to make our chain. When you've done the amount of stitches that you need, hold on to them, pull your core thread and snug your chain stitches up, and we're back to reversing our work, ready for the next ring. So again, hold on to your last element, which is our chain, hold that in the pinch, get yourself some more thread, wrap your hand back up into the pinch. Notice when I come back up into the pinch, the thread from my shuttle is sitting just above the thread coming out of my chain, meaning that when I put the first half of that stitch on, I can control where it comes down to sit. I can make it sit right at the base of that chain, hold it in the pinch and secure it with the second half of my stitch. Now I can work my chain, my ring, a new amount of stitches, and again I like to do a half stitch, that's up to you, and I like to post my shuttle, again personal preference. Hold on to your stitches and pull that ring shut. Ready for our next chain. So reverse your work, flip it towards you and set up for your chain. Work your round of chains, hold on to your stitches, snug your chain up and reverse your work, ready for your next ring.